I've seen the January numbers for the St. Louis metropolitan real estate market, and before you start to think, wait, what's happening? Let's put some assumptions to rest about why the numbers in January look different than our past reports, and let me walk you through what we're actually seeing across all 5 counties, because once you factor in seasonality and the winter weather that we've had, the story looks very different. And I'll tell you right now, the February market has already started heating up. St. Louis County, we're going to start with single-family homes. The average sale price moved from $365,177 in December to $351,932 in January. That's about a 3.6% dip. Days on market increased 34 to 42, and inventory is holding steady at just under 1,700 homes. Condos and townhomes saw more noticeable movement. Average prices dropped 13.3% from $341,951 to $296,000 and change, and inventory increased by 31 units. This is where timing matters. We're coming right out of the holidays, and January brought some of the worst weather we've seen in a bit. Fewer showings and delayed closings show up very early in these numbers. St. Charles County, this number actually tells a different story. It was the only area where single-family home prices increased, up 1.8% to an average of $440,270. Days on market stayed flat at 44, even with all the seasonal and weather challenges. The condo market slowed more noticeably. Average prices dropped from a little under $302,000 to $256,989, and days on market jumped from 32 to 55 in January. It is traditionally slower, and when you layer in the snow and the ice that kept buyers home, that slowdown becomes more pronounced. In Jefferson County, single-family homes saw average prices drop 7.9%, from $318,000 and change to $292,000 and change. Days on market increased from 40 to 49, and the inventory remained steady at 444 homes. The Jefferson County condo market is extremely thin, only 10 units available. Prices ticked up slightly, and properties are still selling at 100.1% of list price. When inventory is that tight, even slower winter activity doesn't put much pressure on pricing. Franklin County is following a very typical January pattern. Single-family homes averaged $285,559 with 76 days on market and 347 homes available. Condos averaged $275,000 and change, taking about 57 days to sell, with 20 units on the market. January is usually our slowest month, and this year the weather amplified that effect. St. Louis City saw the biggest shift this past month. Single-family home prices dropped a whopping 21.3% from $276,000 and change in December to $217,000 and change in January. Days on market increased from 43 to 55, with inventory at 521 homes. Condos declined 9.6%, averaging a sale price of a little under $223,000, and market time increased from 68 to 75 days. Some of this is seasonal. Some of it is weather related, but it's still a meaningful change and one that we're watching closely. So here's the bigger takeaway. January is always the slowest month of the year. People are recovering from the holidays, they're thinking about moving, and this year we had snow, we had ice, we had dangerous road conditions and walking conditions on top of that. What matters is what has held steady. St. Charles County still appreciated. Jefferson County condos held value because inventory is so tight. And across all 5 areas, homes that were priced correctly and presented well still sold. And this is important. February has already started to feel very different. Buyer activity is picking back up. Showings are increasing, and the market is clearly shaking off that winter pause. February and March are going to give us much clearer direction. So if you're buying, there's less competition right now. And as the market heats up, that window won't last forever. If you're selling, slower winter numbers don't mean wait. It means be strategic. Pricing and presentation matter more than ever. Let's look at your specific situation and figure out what actually makes sense for your timeline. I'm Kate Thompson, and I turn the "I'm not so sure" into "I totally get it."